Priest. What do you got in your hands? You got 3 products.
Scratch remover.
Yes, so the video of today is car paint scratch repair. There's many options out there. So you have 3 of some of the most common ones out there: Turtle Wax, Meguiar's New Finish, Scratch Doctor, Scratch X 2.0, and Scratch and Renew. I don't even know, I can't read it from here. So let's examine what we got going on. What happened? How did you get this mark? And the mark is right here on this character line. It is not supposed to be black, it's supposed to be white. So this is unwanted. So how did that happen to your car, honey?
I was parked on the street and a man backed into me.
Are you trying to disparage the male species? Like, did you really have to say man? Did you have to really quantify that it was a man? Sorry, little sidebar. Okay. With that said, let's work our way down the rabbit hole of car paint scratches and the removal and the repair of them. So, not all things are created equal. For example, not all scratches are created equal. Some scratches are in fact transfer. Some scratches are transfer with some damage underneath in the form of a scratch. Clear coat, it's not all created equal. The materials in which you have a scratch are not all created equal. So there's a lot of moving parts to this equation. So what does Darren do? Part of this will be the kind of conversation I have with my customers in talking about the scratch itself. We have shown you the 3 different products that we can use. They're all essentially the same. There's not really any big difference between them. They're all going to be very effective. You can look at the links below my videos, and you can always find links to my website, which will go into much more detail, believe it or not, and it will give you some options, and I kind of lay out the features and benefits of the different products. So, honey, for example, look at that scratch. Now, by looking at it visually, do you come to any conclusions immediately, or
Yes.
less? Like what conclusions, if any?
It's probably just transfer from the guy's bumper.
Okay, that's a good conclusion, and that's a starting point. So take your fingernail and drag it across the scratch. Okay, you're kind of going with, yeah, exactly. I want you to, like, I don't know, how would you label that in words? Across the scratch versus along the scratch. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So what do you feel? Can you pick up any subtleties? Like, what are you feeling? What is your fingernail sensing that might be an indicator of something?
There could be some damage underneath.
Okay, but do you feel that there's perhaps some transfer? As in transfer,
Yes.
Let's just clarify. Transfer is whatever hit your car or you hit by your car, that material has transferred onto your car paint. So it's essentially some other foreign material that's now sitting atop of your car paint. Therefore, it would be raised versus embossed into it. So that's kind of the starting point, is how do we determine that? In some cases, it doesn't even matter. What I will do is I will do the fingernail test, which is what you just did, and try to determine, okay, what am I dealing with? Now, the simple answer is just reach for one or whatever of those products you want. Literally, you can pick any one you want.
Okay.
How'd you decide on that one?
Oh, I just grabbed it.
Okay, so no, there was no real thought put behind it.
No.
So show the camera which one you chose. You chose the Meguiars Scratch X 2.0. Wow, that sounds very sophisticated. I wonder what the 1.0 looked like. Do you even think they had a 1.0? I bet they didn't.
Most likely.
You would think, right? But I don't remember ever seeing one. And then that begs to ask, are they going to come out with a 3.0? Who knows? Okay, so put a little dollop onto a microfiber cloth, and yes, folks, that is a clean microfiber cloth. It's stained up, soiled up, because it has been used repeated times, washed, but you do want to use a microfiber cloth. So put a little dollop on the microfiber cloth. Okay.
Is that enough?
That is, yes, that is good. So we could remove that transfer, because I do think that there is some transfer as part of that scratch for a number of reasons. We could remove the transfer and then see if there's any damage left behind and then try to remove the scratch, but we can just do both simultaneously, which is what we're gonna do right now. So take that and rub. I noticed that it looks like you're having to put a fair amount of effort into it. But I also noticed that that scratch, that transfer, whatever you want to call it, is diminishing as you're working. Is that a correct and fair statement?
It is.
Yeah, because you're mostly covering it up, which is fine because you're working on it. But as you sweep away from it, it does reveal that is diminishing. Yep, see, it's diminishing. Now, why don't you just stop there and now reassess? Do you think there's still more transfer, or do you think that it's actually taken the paint off of your bumper and it's revealed the black plastic underneath? What is your assessment?
Well, if it's black plastic underneath, it may be damaged.
Exactly. But you don't know till you know, right?
How would I know?
Well, that's kind of the trick as to car paint scratch removal, is they're not all created equal. And this is where a person literally just has to go in and figure it out along the way. So this is where I would take a pair of readers and I would scrutinize the area very closely. But I also know, for example, that you can continue to rub, because some people would say like, oh, if you rub too much, you're going to take the clear coat off. Well, that would be very difficult to do that by hand. So I know that the damage that's there is going to be the damage that's there. And what I mean by that is that if you continue to rub, one of two things are going to happen, because underneath that, it literally is a black bumper, as in black plastic, because that bumper is not metal. At least that part of the bumper is not metal.
Yeah.
It is a rubberized type of malleable whatever. So if it really did damage and take off the paint, then there's nothing you're going to do, because that would require touch-up paint to touch it up. It's not a scratch that you can remove. But I see the more you work at it, the more and more it disappears. You know why? Because it's more about transfer rather than an actual scratch. It doesn't mean that there's not some damage done to that area. But if you were to stand back now at normal viewing distances, that essentially would look perfect. Is that a fair statement?
Yep. Yay.
Yay, see, look how much better that looks. So we have success. Would you call that success? Wait, it had a hard time zooming in. Would you call that success? Yep, we'll give it, I think you should give it 2 thumbs up personally. Yep, 2 thumbs up. So let me zoom in. There's the zoomed in version. So go in real closely with your eyes and scrutinize that area and see if you can see any damage that truly is damage to the paint. It'd be really hard to tell,
I don't think
huh?
so. Yeah, I can't feel anything. At first I thought it did because of the way it felt, but
I know. This is why I say every scratch truly is unique, and you just don't know what you're going to get until you're getting it. So that's a simple fix. Okay, party people, there in my wife's hands are your 3 versions. If you follow the links below each video, it'll take you to my website. There you can read additional information. By all means, give it a thumbs up, give us some feedback, let us know if you learned anything along the way. And with that said, we'll see you on the next video.